Hey, you guys. So, let's talk about the live action Pinocchio. Now, for me, I personally didn't think it's bad. Everyone has their own opinion, though. So, that's why I'm not necessarily making it out of what's good. But I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it in relation to the 1940 version. And I'm essentially just going to say, what I liked, what I didn't like, and, not have any spoilers with it. So, personally, when it comes to a live action film, as long as it's not a direct carbon copy of the animated version, that's fine. To a degree. It still has to make sense. The changes that you make still have to be fine. But, what I mean by that is, if you are literally going to take the animated version, copy and paste it as a live action, what's the point? Why'd you make why I mean, I know why. It's called money. But, I'm just going to watch the animated one. Nothing was wrong with it. So I mean, I'll watch the live action one once just to see. Also, too, depending on who's in it and what does the trailer look like. But if it even then doesn't look good to me, I might not watch it, and I'll just watch the animated one because it's essentially the animated one. But here, I feel like the Pinocchio one did enough changes with adding some story details, adding some characters, making a little bit of elemental changes to where I was like, okay, this is fine. And the changes made sense to me. I had no problem with the changes. And I think the cast did a very good job. My standout players for me is literally Keegan Michael Key as Honest John. I loved him. His just the delivery. It was great. I feel like he made the character for me. And then more of a personal favorite for me is seeing Luke Evans again, and seeing him almost in another villainous role. And he's saying again. The thing with this film, and I was actually really surprised by, in the original Pinocchio, there's literally what, 2 songs? There's not many songs at all. And in this one, they made it more of a musical. They added a few more musical numbers. And I was fine. I was fine with that. I'm like, okay, I like this change. Again, as long as the songs make sense and, when the songs basically start, if you're just busting, with a musical, it has to make sense. And I feel like they did make sense. And I feel the changes within the story. Now, for me, when it comes to characters and the story, they gave a little extra background on Geppetto. I actually liked that. It actually kind of touched my heart a bit. And I was like, I wasn't expecting this. It kind of, it touched here. It touched me in the heart. And then you have extra additions of characters, like Sophia, the seagull. I see where they added her, but at the same time, I feel like really wasn't necessary. The puppeteer that works with Stromboli, she was fine. She was, I think, a good addition, especially to what was going on. Um, and story-wise, it kind of makes sense. And I kind of felt though it was a little rushed. Um, but my favorite part of the story was probably Pleasure Island, because that is where I felt the most change was. And I feel that's where the most, like, not even dedication, but like from the point of traveling to Pleasure Island, getting there, and then to when, they essentially escape. That is where I feel like almost like all of the heart, not even all, I don't know how to phrase it. Like, just, I loved it. Period. I don't know how else to say it. Like, visually, it looks nice. There's a song involved in there. I loved it. Visually, it's creepy as hell. And that is where I just feel like, even though in the 1941 you're like, oh, like, that this is a place for, I would say, bad children, but yet it's still like fun. Here, you can definitely tell it's like dark, but yet it's whimsical. And yet it just takes a turn. And it just goes dark for a minute. And there's a point where at Pleasure Island where I would have loved to have seen almost more story on a certain edition. And I think you'll know what I mean when you see it. Because I was like, oh, what's this? What's going on here? And that is what I think enjoyed the most. Was just that change in general. As for the, like, transforming donkey thing, I don't think anyone is ever just gonna be like, yep, I'm fine with that. Like, did it freak me out? Like, yes and no. Like, I feel like I've seen weirder things, but at the same time, like, the tone and the feeling, it's just very uncomfortable. So it's like, ugh. So what I'll say is, if it freaked you out in the 1941, it'll most likely freak you out now. Overall, when it comes to this film, I think there are, like, the things I would say I didn't like is, like, some of the themes and, like, messages when it comes to the 1941. I felt like sometimes that wasn't captured. At least with the heart that it was in the 1941. And that could be for different reasons. There was a new message and, like, a kind of new ending to this one, which I personally had no problem with. And there were definitely, like, I would say more modern jokes and, like, a lot of, I don't even want to say, like, a lot of Disney Easter eggs, but, like, there is one spoiler I have, not really. There is the scene with the cuckoo clocks that's even in the 1940 version, where I personally enjoyed it, but you have clocks that are depicted in Pinocchio, which I liked because it's like an Easter egg. But then you also have clocks that depict different Disney, like, characters and movies. And a part of me was very, I would say, conflicted, kind of like with the modern jokes one, because, and it's like two modern jokes, I would say. Not like it's a lot, but it's like, okay, do those fit with the time that this is supposed to be in? And that's like the nitpickiest thing I can like say in regards to like, oh, what do you have posted? Like, like what is, on the walls, what's said, by the characters. That's like the nitpickiest thing I have. Aside from like the story, and then like I said, the themes, and the message of, the original Pinocchio, I just felt like some of that stuff just wasn't captured, like with some of those lessons that he learns. And so that's those are kind of the differences I saw, like mainly for me. Um, Overall, though, when it comes to like, which do you prefer? Would you rather watch the 1941 or would you rather watch this one? I think it depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Because I think I enjoy them both for different reasons. I personally would maybe watch the 1941 more just because I am more of a nostalgia oldies, like I like the sound and feel of the older music, those characters, but I still enjoyed this movie. It was like one of the better live action ones that I feel like I've seen in a while. Um, so that's just my personal take on it. Um, Everyone kind of has their own thoughts and opinions on that. Is it the best one? No. I mean, I don't, it's really hard, for me. I really just love the animated movies. Jungle Book wasn't bad. Like, that's probably the one I would say is probably the better live action films, but, um, like, this film isn't bad. If you want to watch it, I would say go watch it, um, and give it a shot. But that's kind of my thoughts on it. If you have seen it, let me know your thoughts down below, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.